Hey guys, it's Jarvis, and I'm checking in. It's been a while, honestly, since I've done anything with this universe, and I do apologize for not really uploading any new content, but hopefully going into 2018, gosh, time flies, there'll be a lot more new stuff. So I've actually gotten a couple of different things and products since the last time that I've talked to you guys, because I know I told you initially that this was going to kind of go all over the place, and if my voice sounds a little weird, I'm trying to get over a sinus infection and allergies and things like that. So what I want to actually talk about today, I don't know if you can see, but voila, one in each ear. I actually got some Apple Airpods, and I always want to call them earpods for some reason, I guess because their pods that go in your ear, but they're AirPods. So, bam! Love it. As usual, Apple does the nice, sleek, simple box. Very minimalist. We got the Apple logo on there, and they give you a little bit of general information on the back of you. The light is really bright. I'll come back some so you can actually see there's a picture of the AirPods on the back with the charging case and all of that kind of stuff. Now, when you open up the box, I've actually got mine in my ear. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you got the AirPods in there. You get the normal material that you get with it, and you've actually got a charging cable under there. So there's not a whole lot in the packaging, and these retail for $159. So there's one thing that I'm going to grab actually really quickly. Be right back. So the really nice thing about these, and why I was a little hesitant initially to get them, was I wasn't really sure how I felt about essentially what were the earpods, I guess, that you got with your phone, but they had a wireless aspect to them. They're essentially the same things. These things are actually really cool, and they're kind of high tech, because that's kind of the push with a lot of things to give you a wireless headphone. It offers a lot more flexibility and freedom to move around and do different things and not have a cord tethering you. And these are actually pretty freaking awesome, because if I have one in the ear, it can actually sense. There's a little sensor right here, and there's also a sensor on the outside, so it can actually tell which one's in your ear, so on and so forth. And they actually both have microphones on the bottom here, so you can actually talk as well on both, or with one. If you have both, it's stereo. If not, it's mono. So I've really enjoyed them, and the great thing is they come with a charging case. Now, mine is actually in a little silicone protective sleeve. You can actually find these online. It's kind of nice because Apple always gives their stuff that really glossy finish. It'll actually scratch up really easily, so I would recommend, if you can find one of these guys, to go ahead and get one. You can actually go on Wish. They have them pretty much anywhere if you look online, but Wish, they're fairly inexpensive from what I looked and when I researched it. But the case, pretty straightforward. I'll come back a little bit. They both have their own place, so your right one goes in the right side, and your left one goes in the left side, like that. Later on in 2018, they're going to come out with a wireless or compatible case that you can sit this on, so when that Air Mat comes out, you'll be able to lay your phone, your watch, and your AirPods down on it, and that'll be really nice. But I've really enjoyed having these. They've been great. Now, for those of you out there that may be watching that have an Android device, you can actually still pair them to an Android device. There's a little button right here. It's really hard to see, but you can press that and it'll put it into pairing mode for an Android device. Now, granted, keep in mind you'll lose some of the functionality. Like the way I have mine set up, and we'll get to that here in a second, I can double tap my right one and it'll pause the music. If I double tap it again, it'll play. If I'm getting a phone call, same thing, double tap and it'll answer the call. On the left side, I have that one set up to skip and so on and so forth. So if I'm listening to music, I can kind of shuffle to the next track, because most of the time my music is consecutive anyway. As far as going into the device, you know, it pairs just like pretty much the rest of your stuff. It's really hard to see. I apologize for that. But when you come into the settings for it, you can actually see a lot of cool stuff that you're able to do with these guys, and they're actually off. I need to put them back in my ear so I can actually access the rest of the settings. So I'm going to pop them back in here. And this is really cool too, with the W2 engine that Apple came out with for all the different Bluetooth stuff. It'll actually show you the percentage, so I can actually see. It's hard for you guys, but my left one's 98%, my right one is 95%, my case is actually at 62%. So one thing that a lot of people like to do with these is they'll may wear one and not the other and kind of alternate throughout the day to get a lot of life, but I honestly probably charge this. I use it pretty regularly at work. I probably charge the case itself with the earbuds in it maybe once a week, because I kind of go back and forth listening to podcasts and listening to music and things like that. And then now they're both in my ear, it's saying they're at 93%. Again, you can't really see it. So I can actually come into here, and this is the settings menu on the phone with the Bluetooth. And if I hit this I can actually name them. Really great. These go into your Find My iPhone app, so they actually, just like any other Apple device, you can track kind of your last location if you lose them, but you can actually change a lot of things. You can assign Siri to the double tap, you can do the play pause, you can do next track, previous track, or you can turn those additional features off. And the ear detection feature you can actually also turn on and off as well. And I actually have my microphone set to be automatically switching through the different AirPods, so it can tell, you can assign it if you only want it left, if you only want it right. But that's actually pretty cool. And like I said, they're a little bit on the expensive side, but for anything that's quality, you're going to pay for it. And also, I'm going to kind of loop in here, since I didn't get back to it. I did the unboxing on the Apple iPhone 8 Pluses. I decided not to go with the 10. I personally, having had a lot of the Apple iPhones, I didn't have the first generation, but pretty much everyone thereafter. Skipped a few S models, but still all the same thing. I kind of wanted to, since this was a new technology with that Face ID, I didn't really want to get it yet. But I did get an 8 Plus, and that was coming from out of a 6, so I actually waited longer than I've ever probably waited to get another phone. And I really love my 8 Plus. I mean, the color, it's kind of had to grow on me, the kind of rose gold. It's gold, but it's kind of a blend between gold and rose gold, so it lands somewhere in the middle of that spectrum. And I actually have a screen protector on it that matches kind of the rest of the housing and things like that. But I've really enjoyed the wireless charging. That's been really nice. I've got a wireless charging based on my desk at work. I have one, here at home, and it's just really nice and convenient to be able to sit it on there. I ended up getting this 256 gig. I previously had 128 gig iPhone 6, but since they skipped that, I went to the 256, and honestly, I've got a ton of space, which I'd rather have more space than not enough. The performance, the A11X chip in here is phenomenal, runs really fast. I don't really deal with a lot of lags. There have been some issues, though, with iOS 11 that I've noticed. It's been a lot more glitchy, quality-wise, than what, a lot of us iPhone users have previously experienced. And, that's a little bit of concern. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was an update that came out here recently, because there was one they pushed out on a Saturday. Usually Apple never does that. But there were some issues with the X, or the 10. So this one's actually supposed to fix, this is the 11.2.1. It's supposed to fix bugs, including an issue that could disable remote access to shared users of the Home app. I don't use it, so I don't really think that's going to affect me too much, but I'll eventually do it because that notification is going to end up driving me crazy. But all in all, quality. These work very well with my iPhone. If I take one out, I've been very impressed with the AirPods, and like I said, I really love my phone. I'll likely do something a little bit more detailed about the phone later on down the line. Oh, and actually, this case right here, it's kind of got a chambray, really nice cloth feel to it. I got this from Incipio, and I did a Black Friday deal, and so I got this for half price, but I really love this case. For those of you that are like, I'm not going to put a case on my phone, blah, blah, it's not going to feel thin anymore, this is actually a really nice case. And I'll have to put in the comments the name of it. I think it's called the Esquire. I think that's actually the name of it now that I think about it. But it's got a really thin feel to it. It doesn't really bulk up my phone. It does leave the bottom exposed, though, which sometimes concerns me. But you really don't want to cover up those speakers anyway and get rid of that really nice sound if you're a speakerphone person or you like to listen to music without having a headset on. But it actually does go all the way around, which is really nice. And it's got a nice feel to it. I do wish it had a little bit more pop color in it, but I'm perfectly fine with it. I mean, it's a very professional looking case. So if you guys were to go to incipio.com and check that out, I think you'd really enjoy the case. And the screen protector that I have on here, Wish is probably my best friend. I absolutely love Wish. Let me see if I can turn the screen off. Oh, other side. So like I said, it's got a nice trim, and it's plastic. You have a ton of different screen protectors, but I've really kind of enjoyed this, and it's got a plastic feel. It doesn't chip like those tempered glass ones, and it actually does come all the way around the edge of the phone, which is really nice to find in a screen protector, especially for a device that has this much space. When I first got the phone, I was kind of like, oh my god, this is huge, I can't use it, but I've actually gotten used to it, so I'm pretty good at one-handing it now, so that's been pretty nice. And all in all, like I said, it's been a great device. And definitely, if you guys can get your hand on a pair of these and you're a wireless person, these are good for running in. I've got to try that out. I've kind of moved around and bounced around a little bit, and it's actually been pretty good. They've kind of stayed in my ear. I hadn't really had any issues. I walk a lot at work, and, they've pretty much stayed there. I haven't had to worry about them. I think I did a quick sprint, and they didn't go anywhere. But, hands down, quality product. But it's the holidays, so you'll probably have a hard time getting your hands on these. But if you can't get them early next year, I would definitely go ahead and invest in a pair. I'm wondering if when the charging case comes out, if they'll start pairing them with it. Chances are probably not. That still will probably be something that you have to buy separately. So, but hopefully that price point won't be too high that it'll deter people from getting it. But, just kind of a little something. I'll try to do a little bit better getting things up here for you guys to look at and kind of start back chronicling things a little bit. But, life changes. You have different things that go on. And, I kind of transitioned into a new work role. So I've kind of been on that. I do have probably have a list of things that I actually need to start back doing, like working out and things like that. But that's what January 1st is for. That's what a New Year's resolution is for. But I do thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll, as usual, leave any comments below, any questions, anything you like, you dislike. And always, please, 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 subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys later on. Bye.